Hello, my scrappy friends, and welcome to my channel this lovely Friday. Um, Today, I am sharing a creation for you for Cut to You. I am using this fun squares cubes cut file, and this is the page that I have created. I'll go into why I chose that in a minute, but what I've got here is a piece of texture white cardstock, and then on my cutting mat I have cut this cut file as big as I could get it on my screen on smooth white cardstock. What I just showed you there is some Liquitex matte gel. Now I'm using this for a couple of reasons. First one is I can use it as an adhesive, but it also works as a protective coat on my cardstock. So I have done that bottom corner, and you can see I'm just peeling those squares one by one off my cutting mat, sticking them to where the matte medium is, and then going over the top of the cut file as well to make sure it is well and truly stuck, but like I said, also to protect that from all the colour and the water that I'm going to add. I have kept most of this process in for you, but it is super sped up. So you can see I'm just working in that bottom right hand corner and applying that matte medium. So the reason I chose this cut file was because I was struggling, and if you are a member of the Cut to You HQ group on Facebook, you probably saw my post saying, I'm stuck, I have no mojo. What cut file do you think I should use? And Gwen said, I think you should use this one. And so this is the one that I ended up choosing. I did see someone else recently share a layout on YouTube, I think, where they had used a cut file like this and did white on white and then mixed media over the top. And I really loved it and was really inspired. I can't remember who it was though, so if it was you, please let me know. I was really inspired by your page, so a big shout out to you, whoever you are. I'm so sorry. So you can see I did the bottom right hand corner, and I've also done the top left hand corner, just 3 squares at the top. And I am using my paper trimmer here to make sure that this is all beautifully squared. What I did do as well, I don't know if you saw, along the bottom line there was a bigger gap on the left hand side than the right hand side, so I've gone in, trimmed off the excess, and then I've gone back in again and stuck some of that excess back on, and that's what I'm trimming off here. So you can see all that beautiful texture there. I'm just curling my page back so that it sits reasonably flat on my mat. Some water in my spritz bottle, and the photo that I'm scrapbooking today has my 2 boys in their AFL team colours. So I'm going with the main colours in them, which, as you can see straight away, one of them is purple. And fun fact, if you are an Australian and follow the AFL, I also am a Dockers supporter, and their colour is purple. So my youngest child is a Dockers supporter. My oldest child, there's the photo there, is a North Melbourne Kangaroo supporter. So I thought the blue and the purple would work really well together. And that's exactly what I'm working with. So I'm just testing the blue here to make sure I've got the right colour. And adding, like I said, I just spritzed the paper with my water, and I'm just adding colour, just smushing it on with my paintbrush, moving it around, making a good old mess, and it felt so nice to just add paint and water and move the page and watch the colour run. Yeah, so this was a really fun page to put together. If you like getting messy, I really want to encourage you to give something like this a go. See what you can come up with. Obviously, it won't ever be the same 2 times in a row. And if you can hear that, my husband's air compressor randomly goes off at all hours of the day and night, which is awesome when I'm sound asleep. So I'm sorry. I don't know how to stop it. It is nearly 9 o'clock at night here. So yeah, sorry. As you can see, I'm just going back in with more water, more colour, just making sure all of those squares are covered. I don't know if you noticed, but I did turn my page at one point and spritz the water so that it was kind of spritzing the colour away from where I was put in the colour, if that makes any sense. If I do it again, I'll point it out. So I've got the two photos there, and I'm going to use them exactly as they are. So see there how I'm spraying towards the colour? That way the colour didn't get spread everywhere. I did want a fairly distinct line, not line, but I did want the white between the two lots of colour that I'm going to add. So I'm going in with some paper towel as well. As you can see, there is no rhyme, reason, method, or anything technical at all to this process, but it is very therapeutic if you like getting messy. So I did leave this to air dry, and I have super sped up this part. So this is the top corner, and again I'm doing exactly the same thing, coming in with my two colours, and just making sure that those squares are coming to life. Essentially, they look so cool. I love the way the colour just goes in between the lines and makes it look really awesome. So I have let all that dry, and then I went back in with the same two colours and splattered the purple and the blue again. Again, trying to concentrate the colour on the top and the bottom corners. Just showed you a close-up of my photo. I'm going to add some tissue paper behind it. And I just thought for something a little bit different, I'm going to grab a smallish wet paintbrush and paint some water onto this tissue paper. If you haven't done this, it gives a really cool not cut, torn line without it being crazy. So you can see how the paper just tears away from itself, and it's not neat, it's not tidy, but it's also not like, if you've ever torn tissue paper, it just kind of goes its own way. This way you get a fairly kind of consistent line. So I've got my tissue paper behind there. I'm going to add some foam. I think I wrote down my date as well. I have pulled out my Boys Rule Collection by Coco Vanilla Studio. This is definitely one of my favourites. I knew that this collection had some of the blue in it, and when I pulled it out, I went, oh my gosh, I've got all this black and white, so I'm going to focus on the black and white and pull in the blue where I can. Being that I'm not a huge purple fan, I was like, I can totally make this work, and it's going to look awesome. So you can see I've got my title. I picked that almost straight away. You are awesome. I was like, that's just so cool, and it fits perfectly right there. I'm not covering up too much of my background. I wanted to bring some of that same element up to the top left-hand corner, so I've used that skull and crossbones. It is absolutely, totally, 100% not relevant to anything, but I thought it was a fun little embellishment, and I've really struggled to use these skull and crossbones, so I was like, I'm just putting it on this page. Thought I would go with some sort of circle elements, and I try that circle label down underneath that thumbs up chipboard piece, and I'm just kind of going, nah. So I pull in this journaling spot, which is where I'm going to add my journaling, so that does stay. Then I thought, oh, maybe I can bring this up here. So I bring that up there, and I'm just going to use that as a layer. I've got this cool little sticker banner flag thing. It's blue with the stars. And then I saw the wood grain and went, I wonder how the wood grain is going to look on here. And I went, ooh, I really like that. So I pulled it up to the top. I'm like, how can I bring it down to the bottom? So I'm pulling out, this is the, it's the second ephemera pack with the tags and the frames and stuff. I can't remember what it's called. So I'm going to use that as a little layer as well. Now, you just saw me trimming off the excess bits. If you are like me and you didn't realise, Zoe does this gig almost alone, and she does a lot of the cutting and prepping the ephemera herself. I didn't know that. So Zoe, you are incredible. Your business is amazing. You have incredible design ideas, and I love what you do. So that is, yeah, if you didn't know, that is some of the stuff that Zoe does behind the scenes. So yeah, I just think it's something that we don't find out a lot about at this end of the process, and I think that Zoe definitely deserves a lot of credit because that's a lot of work. Okay, so I have found some more of that wood grain print in some stars. I showed you as well that I was using my edge distresser, and I distressed all the edges of all the paper bits. So the labels and the stickers, that little frame. You can see I've cut that big wood grain, sorry, I just went completely blank, that big wood grain frame along that diagonal, and I've distressed the edges of that as well. I was like 3mm, not quite enough foam behind this photo for that frame to stick, so I've just got to add in a little tiny bit more of that foam, and I'm going to pop that on the two corners. I chose the two corners that I chose because I've got the wood grain up the top left, the wood grain down the bottom right, and then I've also got the wood grain, you can see the star sitting next to the UR. And I just wanted to have a bit of a balance around the page rather than having it, because my first instinct was to go the other way. But I chose this way so the wood grain was a little bit more balanced. I have cut out some of this sticking process because it's really not that exciting, but I am using wet glue on top of everything because I am going onto that textured background with all that mixed media on there. So I've got, so if you saw, I added black thread behind that top cluster. I can't see it particularly well on the screen here, but I think you'll be able to see it better. Behind that label where my journaling is going is some black thread as well that I've just bundled up and tucked in under there, adding in this little embellishment cluster here. So I've made a big circle with some black thread, sticking all that together. And I'm okay covering up that part of the photo. You can see very clearly in the other photo that it's I'm not covering anything important up. And you can really see, I think it kind of narrows your attention on that second photo of them just being silly together, because it's what they do. I've stuck down my title, and now I'm just adding a bit of black thread behind this wood grain star. Now, if you've noticed, the two stars in the two corners are the open traced stars, and then that one in the middle is the solid star. I did that intentionally as well. Added in my journaling with a black pen, and then I remembered I had these clear stickers, so I'm going to add a few of these. Right at the end, I kind of went, ooh, I can add these, and I'm not going to, that's why I stopped adding other ephemera bits. I didn't want to cover up too much of my background, but this way I can add more bits without it feeling heavy and like I'm covering up a ton of that background. So I've got a couple of the clear sticker stars. I've got two by the top of the left-hand side of the photo. I've got a star up in the top left-hand corner and a star down in the bottom right-hand cluster. I've got the word brothers underneath the word awesome. I've got a little, I end up putting two little phrase stickers, one on top of the other, on that wood grain frame down the bottom. Just putting that second one in there now. And the last one's going to go up here, and I know this one says hello. I just wanted that kind of same element in those two clusters, so I'm just bringing that down, up. I'm going to bring these couple of arrows because they're fun, and like I said, they add to the page but don't bring a lot of weight or take away from the background. So my close-ups here, and I've taken a ton of close-up photos for you. So yes, if you are struggling if you're like me and lucky enough to have a huge catalogue of cut to you designs to choose from, sing out, ask for help. It's really fun, and I find that I will often ask my family to help me out, and they always pick something that has me kind of go, oh, I'm not sure what to do with that yet, but I love this page, even with all of that purple on it. I'm really happy with how this page came together. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did go through and add a bunch of staples as well to my clusters. So make sure you head over to the Cut to You store. I will make sure I link the store, this cut file, and the new cut files in the description box below. As always, thank you ever so much for stopping by, and I will see you again with another share very soon. Bye!